is Valley News Live at 4.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Stacy Van Dyke. The snow has stopped, but these cold temperatures will be sticking around for at least the next couple of days. Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joins us with a first look at what's next. Hutch?
Stacy, thanks so much. First and foremost, we can see from space all the white on the map that's not moving. That's piles of snow, and for some, basically north of the Highway 10 corridor in Minnesota and the I-94 corridor in North Dakota, anywhere from 5 to 10 inches, and for a select few, over a foot of snow reported out in parts near Shevlin. All right, as we take a look at morning temperatures, 5 to 15 below for air temperatures, and the wind chills were pretty brutal to start your day. Now, we do have a few clouds starting to show up as we look out in our western view from the Devil's Lake area. Air temperatures, where you see Hutch's black line, that's the 0-degree line. It's below the 0-degree mark. Up in the northwestern portion of our viewing area, but closer to 10 degrees here in the Southern Valley. Well, your actual air temperatures are on the cool side and we will see them slip, but we have clouds on the way and we do have a few flakes in the forecast as well. But what that really means is we will not get as cold in many locations. So we're going to see temperatures quickly drop off in the early evening, particularly out east where we got fresh snow on the ground. Grand Forks, Thief River Falls, Bemidji, you'll see well into those 5 to 10 below category readings early, but most of us will start to see warming conditions as we go through and toward the morning. We'll have hour-by-hour details on what you can expect for the rest of your Tuesday. As I mentioned, a couple of flakes will be possible, Stacy.
Burr.
Yes.
Today was a wake-up call. All right, thanks, Hutch.
Yes.
Mail carriers in the Fargo-Moorhead area are asking you to clear your walkways after yesterday's snowfall so they can get to your door. This includes your driveways, porches, and any area surrounding your mailbox to help keep them safe from slipping and falling. And now that we have snow on the streets, Fargo Public Works wants to remind you of parking restrictions downtown. Starting at 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, any vehicles parked in no parking areas will be impounded. The city says this includes all streets between 2nd Avenue South and 7th Avenue North, from 2nd Street to University Drive. People living in downtown Fargo are encouraged to utilize the parking ramp. New for you now at 4, one man has been arrested after police say he was involved in a fight yesterday morning at Denny's in Fargo. 29-year-old Martavis Ivy from Mississippi was arrested for terrorizing and is in the Cass County Jail. Fargo police say they were called to the Denny's off of 13th Avenue South early yesterday morning for a report that multiple people were involved in a fight. Witnesses told police Ivy had one hand down the front of his pants and was threatening to shoot people. Police say they did not find a gun on Ivy, but one person was hurt in that fight. 38-year-old Brandy Adelke of Fargo was sentenced today to 30 years in prison for killing a family friend's toddler late last year. She pleaded guilty to both murder and child abuse in the death of 15-month-old Mika.
I would forgive her, but I would never forget what she's done. He's like, me giving her a life sentence is not going to bring my daughter back.
Adelke's sentence come directly from the wishes of Mika's father, Manny Carrillo, who both prosecutors and family members say was adamant he did not want his daughter's killer to spend the rest of her life in prison. She'll be eligible for 5 years of supervised probation in 2045. 29-year-old Kyrie Hill of Fargo has been sentenced to serve 360 days in jail after court documents say he hit and killed his girlfriend's dog this spring. Hill was originally charged with 1 count of felony animal cruelty, but the charge was amended to animal abuse, which is a misdemeanor. Hill told police he was upset with the dog because it was eating his food. Hill is getting credit for already serving 205 days. The Biden administration is implementing new travel rules, they say, to stop the spread of the Omicron variant starting to take hold in the states. Skylar Henry has details from Washington, D.C.
Beginning today, all travelers flying into the U.S. will have one more thing to do before boarding their flights.
We want to go around roughly 3 or 4 times in a circle.
Everyone aged 2 and up will need a negative COVID test at least 24 hours prior to takeoff. Previously, you had 72 hours to get tested. The rules cover vaccinated and unvaccinated passengers, and they also apply to U.S. citizens as well as foreign visitors.
We found out just randomly, so now we're like, well, do we wait? Do we do our test today? Do we do it tomorrow?
So far, there have been 0 deaths reported as a result of Omicron.
Thus far, it does not look like there's a great degree of severity to it, but we really got to be careful before we make any determinations that it is less severe or really doesn't cause any severe illness comparable to Delta.
As of now, all of the cases in the U.S. have been mild, but the variant is already in 17 states, and its spread is just getting started.
Really what we're going to see is over the next 3-4 weeks, dramatic increase in the number of cases of Omicron. And it's a perfect storm, right? The weather's getting colder, people are getting together for the holidays.
While scientists say there is still much to learn about Omicron, the early indicators out of South Africa show that being vaccinated and boosted is the best defense.
If you get boosted, you're going to get your level up, way up, and we feel certain that there will be some degree and maybe a considerable degree of protection against the Omicron variant.
New York Mayor Bill de Blasio announced this morning that beginning December 27th, all private businesses in the city will need to require their employees be vaccinated. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Mayor de Blasio says he's confident his mandate will survive the legal challenges, which are sure to come. The president has also extended the mask requirement for buses, trains, and planes through March. New questions today about what happened in the hours before last week's deadly shooting at a high school in Oxford, Michigan. James and Jennifer Crumbly, the parents of the accused shooter, are in custody after law enforcement tracked them down in Detroit. They're charged with 4 counts each of involuntary manslaughter for allegedly allowing their son, Ethan, access to the gun that he's accused of using to kill 4 fellow students. The couple was arrested inside a commercial space connected to 65-year-old Andre Shakora after failing to appear for an arraignment on Friday. Shakora's attorney said he didn't know Crumbly's had been charged and he thought he was just helping his friends.
They had received death threats all week, so they wanted to go somewhere where they could have some peace for a few hours.
They were terrified. They were not at home. They were figuring out what to do.
In a letter sent to parents Saturday, the superintendent said that one day before the shooting, a teacher reported Ethan Crumbly to school authorities after seeing him looking at ammunition on his phone. School officials say they reached out to Crumbly's mother, but received no answer that day. According to prosecutors, phone records show Jennifer Crumbly later sending her son a text that read, "LOL, I'm not mad at you. You have to learn not to get caught." The Thrifty drug location in the Hornbachers off 32nd Avenue South in Fargo is closed. The owner of Linson Pharmacy says former Thrifty drug patients who didn't transfer their prescriptions to a different pharmacy before the closure can get their medications at Linson. North Dakota law states patients are free to choose to transfer their prescriptions to any pharmacy at no charge. Valley News Live has reached out to the former owner of Thrifty Drug on why the pharmacy closed. We haven't heard back. President Biden wants to get a key component of his domestic agenda over the finish line before the holidays. The president told Americans today they'll reap the benefits of his $1.75 trillion Build Back Better with lower prescription drug costs, an issue that has eluded both parties for years. Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
President Biden is pitching his Build Back Better bill straight to Americans' wallets and medicine cabinets, saying the plan will lower the costs of prescription drugs.
Everyone has less money in their pockets because high drug costs make health insurance more expensive for everyone.
The Democratic proposal would allow Medicare to negotiate prices for certain drugs, impose a penalty if companies increase prices faster than inflation, cap costs for seniors and those with disabilities, and lower the cost of insulin to $35 a month. That would help diabetics like Aisha Meza.
There came a time where I could no longer afford my insulin. I was forced to ration my supply of drug that is as vital to me as water.
The president's $1.75 trillion social spending package, which has passed the House, also includes money for universal pre-K and new funding to fight climate change. But not all provisions may survive the Senate, where the legislation needs every single Democratic vote in order to pass.
The White House has said President Biden does not expect to get everything he wants and is focused on compromise.
Progressive Senator Bernie Sanders, whose budget chair, has pushed to expand the bill.
We've got to demand that the wealthy stop paying their fair share of taxes.
While more moderate holdouts, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, have consistently fought to curb the cost and scale of the legislation.
The country's awash in federal dollars.
The president obviously wants to get his Build Back Better agenda done as soon as possible.
The timeline for agreement is ambitious, with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer aiming to pass the bill before Christmas. Natalie Brent, CBS News, the White House.
The majority leader warned colleagues there are more long days and nights ahead this month as the holidays loom, while lawmakers tackle other priorities like voting rights and the debt limit. The city of Fargo wants to remind everyone to recycle old or unwanted holiday lights. There's a free program to get rid of them in a way that's better for the environment. You can drop off string lights at the Household Hazardous Waste Facility. That's at 606 43.5 Street North between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, now through January 31st. Rope-style lights are not accepted, and if you have cardboard boxes lying around from Cyber Monday, drop those off at the transfer station at the Fargo landfill. Up next, how not to fall victim to romance scams. Those details are still to come right here on Valley News Live at 4.
And welcome to a change of seasons. Overnight, that wind was still terrible, and road conditions were the same as temperatures dove into the sub-zero category for many. Now, we did see some sun today, but clouds are making their way in. Those will actually keep us from getting too cold. Your hour-by-hour forecast is coming up right after this.